what is it like qualifying for a mortgage in retirement. So we have really become experts in utilizing a combination of the Social Security income, pension income, some cases trust income. This is Nick Kristoff with the Kristoff team, and I wanted to give you an update today on basically qualifying for a loan in retirement. We have had a lot of conversations lately with folks who are moving down to the Hilton Head and Bluffton area from all across the Northeast, Midwest, and they just got questions about what is it like qualifying for a mortgage in retirement. And what that question usually relates to is an income question. At that point in life, it's not uncommon where there's a retirement account or assets. Even the home back in the Midwest or Northeast may have a lot of equity, but it's a real question of income. And really, I want to break it down. I've got a lot of answers in that space, but I want to break it down into two categories, and that is kind of the pre-retirement and the post-retirement. And we're going to talk about both, but pre-retirement, what I mean is if you're planning on retiring in the next couple of years, what are some things to consider as it relates to a loan? And then from post-retirement, I'm talking about if you've already retired or the retirement's right upon you, what are the things you need to consider in terms of qualifying for a loan at that stage? So as it relates to pre-retirement, as you're planning for retirement in the next couple of years maybe, or a handful of years, what are some things that you can do to prepare for that from a qualifying standpoint for that end loan down wherever you're retiring? One is if you are considering buying something now and then retiring in a handful of years, you could consider buying it perhaps as a second home. For most loan programs, the interest rates between a primary and a second home are very similar, if not exactly the same. For Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they're usually identical. And so that's something you can keep in mind, is you could buy it maybe as a second home now, and then you just have it. And that way you can use your income from your current employer or your current job for qualifying income. That's the most common route that we see. And if we're talking then about retirement, using retirement, either assets or that post-retirement, where you're looking at things like maybe there's Social Security, pension is kicked in. Maybe it's the time in your life now where all of a sudden you're shifting from putting money into that 401k or IRA account to maybe shifting and taking money outside or drawing that account. So we have really become experts in utilizing a combination of the Social Security income, pension income, some cases trust income, distributions maybe from IRA, 401k accounts, and even brokerage accounts in a few cases as well, to kind of come up with an income strategy that lets you qualify for a loan when you're in that retirement phase. So whether or not you've got it out a couple of years or whether it's right upon you, there are ways to get loans to do that. And I'm talking about conventional financing. I'm not talking about something that's kind of outside the box. I'm talking about most loan programs with a Fannie Mae, a Freddie Mac, and the majority of jumbo loan programs are going to have very similar parameters about how to qualify for income. They sometimes can be very specific, but they're not very difficult. So the key really is just knowing what those rules are, how to structure the income to make it work, and then having a plan that you can follow through on that. So definitely talk with your loan officer, talk with someone in advance, start asking those questions. Here's what's going on in my life. So much happens in that time frame of maybe you're moving homes, maybe you're moving assets, income is changing, all of that stuff is happening. The sooner you can have a conversation with the financing person, the loan officer, about what are the key things you should be considering, the easier that transition can be, and to make sure that you do everything in the correct order so that your end goal of buying a home in that retirement area where you're going to move can be accomplished. So if you've got more questions about this topic, you can certainly reach out to us. We'd love to talk with you some more. Thanks so much.